Yeah, I mean, most of mine are kind of based off rumors, what bookies have started saying. Um, I'd like to first of all kind of return to one of the ones which you and Harrison brought up and were enthusiastic about, and what I believe has been voted by fans to be kind of the most wanted
Yeah.
Doctor, which is Richard Ayoade.
He's literally on telly now. He's on the
Is he?
TV here.
What's he doing? Is it Travel Man?
It is
Crystal
Travel
Maze?
Man.
I think my dad's watching it. But
Can you guess who he's traveling with?
no, I couldn't.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Leave your comments and suggest who you think he could be traveling with. Sorry, Harry, carry on.
But no, yeah, I kind of am pretty much in the same camp as most Doctor Who fans, in which I've said for a couple of years now, at least, that Richard Ayoade would be absolutely brilliant
Hmm.
as the Doctor. Um, he's great. I think he kind of has everything you could want from an actor playing Doctor. I think possibly my only reservation is that kind of nowadays with stuff such as Travelman, Crystal Maze, he does much more presenting work. I
Hmm.
mean, unless acting work. That didn't stop Bradley Walsh, of course, but there is the possibility that in the public eye, Richard Ayoade is seen too much as Richard Ayoade rather
Yeah.
than as an actor. And that if you were to play the role, we wouldn't be able to think of him as the 14th Doctor and just think of him as Richard Ayoade as the Doctor.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
would.
think.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You'd be watching it and you wouldn't see the Doctor. You would see Richard Ayoade.
Hmm. I mean, I don't think. I think that's a very small point against him.
Hmm.
If he was revealed, I would be, elated because I think he's kind of got everything you could want from a Doctor.
Yeah. Well, I've got two suggestions here, and the reason I'm going to bring them up first is because I'm not 100% sure about them. I'm not sure if I think they should have played the Doctor at some point, but not now. I feel like maybe the moment has passed for them to play the Doctor, but at some point, maybe in the last 10, 20 years, they would have been perfect. And the two people I've got are Robert Carlyle and Nicholas Lyndhurst.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
interesting.
so Robert
I've heard
Carlyle,
those names being thrown around.
A lot of people might know best on Train Spotting, but I'm talking about when he was doing stuff like the Full Monty, that sort of era. Robert Carlyle would have been
Hmm.
great. Maybe now. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it now,
Was
but
Doctor Who on TV when that came out, though?
I don't think it was. No, that's the only problem. And
Yeah.
Nicholas Lyndhurst, who now I do feel is maybe too old to do it. He does. I know, like Capaldi looks old, but not to throw shade on Capaldi, but he still looks like the Doctor. Whereas I love Nicholas Lyndhurst. I cannot talk about how much I adore Only Fools and Horses and how much I adore Rodney. But when I see Nicholas Lyndhurst now, I'm like, oh man, you look old.
I think there's
You know what I mean?
also the fact that when you've already played a really iconic character such as Rodney in Only Fools and Horses, can
Yeah,
you then also play another iconic character such as the Doctor, or
yeah.
would you just see, Rodney from Only Fools as the Doctor?
Well, it's not going to stop
Um,
Chris Marshall.
Chris Marshall. Have you already discussed Chris Marshall?
We haven't. I would like to say I think Chris Marshall would be a great Doctor, and I think he would be just fine. But what I don't like is the fact that every news outlet goes, "Yeah, it's going to be Chris Marshall," with no evidence.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I've not watched Death in Paradise. I'm sure he's a great actor, and from what you've told me, is a lot in his performance in Death in Paradise that kind of suggests he would be able to play the Doctor
Yeah,
very well. Though part of me kind of feels like a lot of the reason why people have kind of rallied behind him is because he's ginger and the whole, lingering thing of the Doctor always saying they want
yeah.
to be ginger.
Well, I know
I don't
last
know.
time it was because last time the rumors went around, it was because he left Death in Paradise like the same month it was announced that Capaldi was leaving Doctor Who. So people quickly weighed it up and went,
Right.
"Oh, okay."
Okay.
So who do you have? Who's on your list?
I really only have another two key ones I want to talk about. One of them I saw at some point from one article, it might be Metro, slated her as the bookie's favorite, which is Michaela Cole,
Is that the one
the
you sent me?
star. Yeah, she's the star of and creator of both Chewing Gum and I May Destroy You. I've not watched No Destroy, but I've heard very, very good things about it. I have seen some bits of Chewing Gum, and she's very good in that. From everything I've seen, I think she would do an excellent job. I mean, I feel like every actor we bring up would be able to bring something to the role of the Doctor and do an excellent job.
100%.
My one question is, would someone like Michaela Cole, who's obviously such a creatively involved person in a lot of her projects, would she choose to do something like Doctor Who, where she would have less creative control over, another thing which she could write and direct and produce?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, from what I've heard from Moffat and Russell is that writing Doctor Who is just the biggest ball ache, and they seem to really enjoy it, but it just constantly stresses them out. So the fact that you would then have to write it, produce it, direct it, and star in it.
I'm not saying that she personally would. I mean, that's something that's never been done. We've never had a Doctor also be a writer and producer for a show. How would you
Yeah,
feel if that happened?
I think it'd be
If,
okay.
say, someone like,
The only other example I can think of is Ricky Gervais. Not to play the Doctor, but in that same field of writing and directing and starring in his own stuff. And for that, it works. For 6 episodes of a sitcom or a comedy, I feel it works. For a sci-fi show with such a big legacy, where I imagine planning it takes, because you know that when they're filming series 5, they're planning series 6. So I don't necessarily know if you could do that and also give a 100% committed performance to the role as well.
I mean, that being said, I say that, but if Michaela did come on, obviously, kind of the rumors about Jodie leaving specified that Chibnall would stay on, and I imagine that would be the case.
Yeah.
And actors like, we bring up Richard Ayoade, he's written, produced, and directed and kind of starred and stuff himself. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place is a key example. So it's by no means something, and it's not like Michaela Cole doesn't just do stuff that she creates. So I still think it's within the realms of possibility. It's just a question of whether she'd prioritize doing something like Doctor Who, which is quite a big commitment, over maybe pursuing something more personally.
Yeah. If Chibnall, it does seem, will be staying on if it is meant to be true, which threw me back into Broadchurch, and I started digging around in Broadchurch to see who had been on Broadchurch that could be of interest. And one of these I know you'll definitely want to talk about is so the first one is Simone Ackley. She's a really brilliant female actress. She was in. Did you see Broadchurch?
I saw the first 2 series. I didn't see series 3.
Okay, so you'll probably remember that the father, Mark Latimer, has an affair.
Yes.
And Simone Ackley plays the character who he has an affair with.
I remember, yeah. Jodie had a great scene where she confronted her in it.
She does, yes, that's true. So that'd be great. And Jonathan Bailey, who is a younger actor, he played the budding reporter in that,
yes,
that
I
series.
remember.
Yeah. And I think if I retweeted it on our Twitter account of these two numbnuts being asked what they thought. Did you see it? What they thought of Jodie Whittaker leaving Doctor Who on BBC News? And they asked this guy, they said, "Do you watch Doctor Who?" He went, "No, I do not watch Doctor Who because this is a children's program." And then they asked the other woman, and they said, "What do you think?" And she went, "Well, I think the BBC has clearly shown it's trying to appeal to a younger demographic. So I think they should possibly cast a YouTuber."
Wait, who are these 2 people? Are these the actors from Broadchurch?
No, these are just 2 people who just happened to be on BBC Breakfast at this time when they were doing like the news, when they were going over.
Okay, so they weren't like television correspondents, actors, right? They had no.
They were just 2 random people. It was the most bizarre thing.
Okay, because is this like the thing where on BBC News they bring in like people to talk about the headlines?
Yes.
So it's like those, like the headlines people.
Yeah.
God, now I'm thinking about like if they brought in like Joe Sugg to be the Doctor.
I could see it. I could see it.
I feel like he's a bit young right now, but
someone who was in Broadchurch, I know you want to talk about, is Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes, I did I was snooping around for Broadchurch cast list as well, and I did see Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which I could not help but notice because she, of course, is another one which a lot of the rumors and the bookies are talking about. I remember she was discussed when it came to who could be the 13th Doctor, and of course she's being discussed again now. I feel like when it came to the 13th Doctor, she very much could have been a viable pick. Now, I think she's far too big of a name.
Yeah.
Obviously, Fleabag has been like, a huge success, not just here, but internationally it's been acclaimed. I don't know how much she's kind of broken the West. The West definitely know who she is.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know she was in So Star Wars Stories, a droid. Uh, the main reason I say I know that the West know who she is because Jimmy Fallon did a section on his show where he did a sketch where he was Harry Styles making the new music video, and there were bits where he was FaceTiming someone pretending to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and they were making jokes that were quite explicitly references to Fleabag.
Oh, so really? Okay.
So there is no awareness of who both Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Fleabag is in the West. Not the West. I say the West. We're in the West. The UK is the West.
You mean America?
I mean, in America.
Yeah.
In the States. The States is the word I was looking for.
Somebody else who I've got.
But
the rest of the people on my list are all female, so we'll try and rattle through these. From Killing Eve, I've got Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh.
I feel like is Killing Eve not still going on?
I feel like it's finished. I think it's finished.
I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like that show is like massive. Like Killing Eve right now is bigger than modern Doctor Who is. So I feel like to go from Killing Eve to Doctor Who would almost be a step down career-wise. I imagine like those actresses now will be kind of eyeing up Hollywood,
Yeah. Well, okay, so what about Vicky McClure from Line of Duty?
I'd be for that. Yeah. Line of Duty is great. Yeah.
Who else do we have? Tamsin Gregg from Friday Night Dinner and Episodes.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I've not considered Tamsin Gregg.
Because she does
break my ears up.
For those who don't know, in the UK we have a long-running radio program called The Archers, which is basically like a soap opera on the radio, and she's involved in that. She also recently did a drama on ITV that didn't do too well, but I understand that she was very good as a dramatic actress in that. And we know she can do comedic roles. So I think Tamsin Gregg would be a really good shout at Doctor Who.
I'm thinking about it right now. Have you seen, I think I actually saw a meme which lined up the cast of Friday Night Dinner and ranking them from likely to least likely to be the next Doctor. And they did put Tamsin Gregg as the number one.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the main thing I know her from is the National Theatre production of Twelfth Night. Where she was playing Malvolio, who's normally a male character, but it's kind of one of the most significant roles in the piece.
Yeah.
And she was in it, and she was very funny. She had a real intensity to it. I could see her really working.
Yeah. Okay, so another one I've got here. Go on.
Sorry, no, that actually has got me one of the first names that has got me really excited. Tamsin Gregg sounds like of all the names we've discussed, that's one of the ones which to me is one of the most viable.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Someone I've got who was in Doctor Who and I think could be quite interesting. Sophia Myles from Girl in the Fireplace.
Did she play Madame Pompadour?
She did play Madame de Pompadour.
Oh, Du Pompadour.
I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
See, I just think if Capaldi could do it, and Capaldi was in such a monumental episode and such an important role in that episode, then why not just do the same with Sophia Myles if they were to bring her back? Why has she picked this face and such or just never address it?
Maybe, yeah. I'm trying to think now.
She used to date David Tennant as well.
Characters who've been in. Connection. Yeah, I'm trying to think now of kind of actors who've been in New Who stories who could potentially come back as a Doctor. David Mitchell. That'd be a laugh, yeah.
Okay, well, what about Robert Webb?
Robert Webb. That'd be a laugh, yeah. I mean, I don't think either of them would. But sure, why not?
What about David Walliams?
Oh, I can't see that. I can't see David Walliams as a Doctor.
No, me neither. I knew you wouldn't like that.
We're just going to reel off just kind of the most...
Okay, the last one I got on my list, which when I sent to you, you said you were going to talk to me about it on here, is Felicity Jones.
Yes, you mentioned Felicity Jones, which I found interesting. Why do you think Felicity Jones.
Well, I think she's a good actress. She could, like everybody we've mentioned on here, she could do this. She would be just as good as anybody else we've mentioned. Possibly too big of a star to do it with being in
That's
a Star
my
Wars.
reservation.
But then maybe Doctor Who needs a big star to front it, even if it's just for 3 seasons.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get to that point in a second. First of all, I want to say, based on what we've talked about so far, I don't think it's likely. I was already saying Phoebe Waller-Bridge might be too big.
Yeah.
And Felicity Jones was in the same Star Wars movie Phoebe was in, and she was playing an even more significant role than Phoebe was. So, by that kind of deduction, I feel like Phoebe's too big. No, Felicity's too big. But I did think about that, what you just said, of what if, for even a brief stint, they brought in like a big A-list actor to play the Doctor, because that's not been done before. That's never been done before. It's almost kind of tradition at this point to pick kind of an up-and-comer to play the Doctor. But what if they went the other way? And that is interesting. That's interesting, because then suddenly names which you would very quickly dismiss, like Eddie Redmayne or Benedict Cumberbatch, suddenly those become viable if you thought, what if they were to do that?
I don't think Cumberbatch would do it. I think he's even said he wouldn't do it. I think when Tennant left and Moffat was taken over, I think they had a discussion about it. But Cumberbatch basically said he just doesn't want his fate, which is what I'm about to say now contradicts everything to do with the MCU. But Cumberbatch said he just didn't like the idea of having his face on lunchboxes and stuff like that.
Mm.
But yeah, there's some good choices in there. I generally do think that it should be. My instinct is to go for an unknown, but then after what we've just said, I really would like maybe just see just a random really big name actor do it for 2 years.
I mean, yeah, if some kind of leak came out where it said like an A-list or Hollywood star was who the BBC were in negotiations with.
Yeah.
I mean, it would definitely do the ratings favors, wouldn't it? Without a doubt.
It would.
I'm trying to think, like the biggest possible name now, like
Steve Coogan.
Or if it was like Steve Coogan's the biggest name you can think of.
It is. It's got many.
I was about to say something like Dame Judi Dench as the Doctor. I was going to go that insane.
I generally can't think of anybody because in my mind it still has to be a British actor in my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I want to establish that. I mean, I feel like the Doctor at this point it's been established quite clearly that they can be any race, any gender, anything. But I feel like you kind of have to draw the line at British.
Yeah, they can be Scottish, they can be English, they can be Irish. But they have to be.
Have we been Welsh? We've not had a Welsh Doctor?
Michael Sheen. There you go. It's going to be Michael Sheen.
I have heard Michael Sheen being thrown around.
Yeah.
I mean, he could certainly do it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if he